Now we are live. So a little bit of hilarity there because I actually forgot to press the go live button. So we've been talking to you here in the very last Tuesday talk of 2020. We're saying lots of T's in this one because it's a terrific talk from Michael here on Tuesday, the 8th of December. And it's the very last Tuesday talk of 2020 from In Control Scotland. So it's Michael Mcewan telling us a bit about the impact of COVID-19, some of the changes that's meant, and also sharing some of his hopes for the future. So I'm going to rejoin you again about 25 past, Michael.
Yeah.
And look forward to hearing you.
Okay, take two. Thanks, Keith. My name is Michael Mcewan, and I've been here for the past 4 Tuesday talks speaking about different issues affecting people with a disability. And every week, every month, I've been picking a theme to speak about. And this week's theme, I'm going to be speaking about the future. What does the future hold when we come out of this coronavirus? And firstly, I would like to thank Keith and all that for setting Tuesday Talks up this year. It's been very good for me and Dr. Danielle Farrell to speak about different issues as well. And I hope they keep it going next year and beyond. Anyway, without further ado, and by the way, it's not scripted, that one I just made it up from my memory. So Tuesday Talks today, then the last one of the year, will be on the way forward for disabled people and people with mental health issues as well, but also people in general. Don't forget, you can comment as well down below, or you can ask a question, and I'll try and do my very best to answer them at the end if we've got time. So when we went into lockdown in March, everybody thought, well, I'll see you in a few months, bye. But we didn't realise that we were going to be in lockdown for 6 or 7 or 8 months now. And we're going to spend Christmas in a few weeks, easing the restrictions, and then rumours has it of the new year, maybe going into lockdown again. But anyway, so when we went into lockdown at first, I was very busy doing work and all that. I was still having meetings with In Control Scotland, with Keith and other people that I work with. But we couldn't physically meet, and the only way that we're going to do that is on Zoom. Now, I'll come back to speak about technology in a wee minute or two, but technology has played a big part of this year. I think this year will be remembered as the Zoom year, as everybody has been Zooming about, not the M8, but Zooming about to meetings, whether you use Zoom or Teams or what have you. So it's a vital part of everyday living for people to communicate, to have meetings, and also to have nights out as well. Because I'm going to night out next weekend, and we're having a night out, fun enough, over Zoom. So that's good. In a way that Zoom has brought people together more. Networking, as I say, it's a big bad world out there, but that's quite small when you think of the technology that's out there. In Control Scotland and Scale Rate has been working with No Labels, No Walls, and we meet up every Monday night where we come together to speak about kind of like global issues as well, and have events. And that's been very useful when we come together every night. We come together. So it's me, Keith, Alistair, William, other people from other parts of Scotland, but also also the big bad world, as I say, people from America, India, Finland, and people from England all joining in because we want to create a movement when we come out of lockdown for disabled people in a better society. So I think that's one way that is a good starter for 10 or 15 or whatever you want to call it, that people. And when we go back to a new normal, I think people will be using that as well to communicate as well. So my looking ahead to the future for disabled people and the rest of the population is when I was last month, I was speaking about 25 years of the Disability Discrimination Act, and it was passed in the House of Commons, obviously 25 years ago, back in November, and that was good to see that we've got Discrimination Act out there. But to me, and listening to some other people over the past couple of months, it doesn't really go far enough when you speak about employment, when you speak about access to buildings and fairness in society. So I'm going to be speaking about that as well, about the Discrimination Act. It's good to have it, but as I say, it's not going far enough. A couple of issues that I've been involved in as well as Keith was saying, a disability campaigner and a journalist and all that. I'm like the local chairperson of my local disability group out in East Renfrewshire, where we campaign on different issues. And one of the issues that we were working on for about six years now, and it was a hell of a lot of campaigning, was to get accessible taxis in East Renfrewshire, because to be honest, that's a human right that anybody could go out to the shops or down to see the pals or even work-wise as well, and people wasn't getting that opportunity in East Renfrewshire because there wasn't any accessible taxis. However, we campaigned heavily for 6 years and had different meetings with the council and councillors and council workers as well. And we tried to make a case that, they should be accessible taxis for disabled people. So now we're up to. We went from one accessible taxi to 39 accessible taxis, and that's like a basic kind of like human right. So we had to fight and campaign for that. So that's one thing I would like to see when we come out of lockdown is it should be much easier for disabled people to work in things instead of campaigning. Now, I love campaigning, and I know Keith loves it and everybody else loves it in King Close, Scotland, but it would be brilliant not to be campaigning a lot, because you would think everybody would be equal in society as well. One of the other things we started doing was, when you look at accessible train stations and kind of not even in East Renfrewshire, but in Scotland as well, are not accessible. So at one of the meetings before beginning of the year, in fact, the last time we met, my disability group was back in January. And since then, we've been using Zoom to have our meetings. And one of the stations in East Renfrewshire is not very accessible. So we were working with the councillors and we were working with the local community council to make a case to a local MP that, this is not acceptable. They should have accessible train stations. And when I say accessible, I mean when you walk into the station, but also when you go to the ticket machine, the machine should be a bit lower, because with people with mobility issues, in wheelchairs or whatever, etc., they can't reach the buttons to press the buttons for the tickets. So we would like to see that. However, that campaign has been, well, I wouldn't say put on the back burner. We're still working on it, but we're not physically meet up. But that was one of the campaigns we had going this year. You might see a theme coming from this Tuesday Talks, and I'm using this a few times as well. People with a disability should be front and centre of decision making, in terms of so that's my kind of like disability group. I might touch upon self-directed support for a minute or two. Self-directed support is a good. It's good. Personally, I don't use self-directed support, but I know who does, and I know a lot of people that does it, and a lot of people think it's useful and all that. But we, the other parts of Scotland, don't give they don't give families that option with self-directed support. That's not even an option. In different areas in Scotland as well, people would say, well, they don't entertain it, they don't give them a chance about self-directed support as well. But if you have self-directed support and you approach a local council, that's brilliant, because it puts people at the forefront of, and you're in control of your budget, and you can get a PA or whatever with that kind of sum of money from self-directed support. And again, that makes people a bit more independent as well. So I think self-directed support is a good thing. I'm a big kind of like champion about self-directed support, and I'm a big believer about people having the choice and control about what they want to do in their life. It's not up to a third person. Dr. Danielle Farrell is Watson. Hi, Danielle. Hopefully you're well. So self-directed support is a good thing for people to use, because usually when you go to meetings for the council and all that, and somebody's there, like a support worker is there, and they don't give you a chance to speak. So I would like to see, when we come out of our lockdown, when we go forward into the new year, I would like to see people listening to disabled people more than they're doing at the moment, in my opinion, because sometimes when you speak to the likes of Danielle and other people, and I know a hell of a lot of people that they don't think their voices have been heard, and that they've been treated fairly and all that, because we have got an opinion as well. Okay, we have a disability, but as I said before in one of my other Tuesday talks, that's a label. People should be a bit more serious when it comes to listening to the views of people with a disability. And as soon as you see people with different disabilities, whether they're in a wheelchair or mobility issues, please don't let that put you off, because we're all people at the end of the day. Don't forget that. So I think when coming back to, I think when we speak about self-directed support, I think that it's up to the person what they want to do with that budget. It's not up to a social worker or different parts of the family or whatever. It's up to the individual person that's going to be using that budget of money, and you can achieve a lot of things by using self-directed support with any adaptation for your house or as I see, PAs or going on holiday, not at the now, late enough, but hopefully next year when we go back to a kind of new normal as well. The other thing that I was going to speak about as well is you might think, well, Michael's just picking highlights from his Tuesday talks, but when you think about them all, they all kind of like lead back to a better future for people with a disability in terms of I'm heavily involved in Skate Late, as you know, Skate Late Scotland keeps on at Anasta's or on the committee as well, and a few other people with lived experience, people with learning disabilities, but also organisations as well. And that's all about choice and control, and that's all about putting people first and centre. It's not to people say, like, Michael, okay, time to go home. It's 8:30. You know, it should be up to the person if they want to go home or stay out or whatever they want to do. So that's really about sort of Skate Late, the kind of campaign that I'm involved in. I feel very strongly, very passionate. I think I picked this theme today because the future for disabled people, I feel very strongly, because when you go to some events before lockdown, we were still speaking about the same issues, and we don't want to come out of lockdown speaking about the same issues, because what's the point of that? Because you're going to every event, you know, whether that could be every second week, every week, or whatever, round table events, speaking about the same issue, housing, employment and access. They are three basic things. And I would like, when we come out of, when we look out to the new year, the new, the new normal for people with a disability, I would like to see people front and centre about decision making, whether that could be local politics, local council, even getting into some journalism work as well, because there's something special about reporting on something. When you're reporting on something, it's about a disability issue. I think the audience really engaged with you, because if a reporter, and I've been lucky enough to do this a few times, if reporters actually got a disability himself, then it's you know, then it takes people listen, people sits up and kind of listens as well. I also think in the new normal that the future should be easy. At the moment, I've told you about this a few issues that I'm involved in about accessible taxis and whatever. We had to fight for that, and we had to campaign for that. But it would be brilliant not to campaign and all that. Even though I love campaigning, but it would be brilliant just to wake up one day and everything's the same for everybody else. There's still a wee bit of discrimination out there, especially when it comes to employing people with a disability, because I think it's like 7% of people with a learning disability, whether that could be learning or physical or a bit of both, not in employment. And I think they need to be a bit more understanding there with employers, because usually when you see people with a disability, whether it's visual or hearing, or maybe, you know, employers get put off. But if you look at the talented people with a disability out there that would love to work but not given the chance, and to be honest, sometimes I feel as though I'm going round and round and round and round and round and round and round, and that's enough round, in circles, speaking about employment. When we go to different events and everybody says, yeah, I share the same opinion, but nothing gets done about it. So I think there should be something maybe get put into law when when the new future for people with a disability. But I don't think it's people with a disabilities issue. I think it's more up to the employer's issue. Whether you're living in Glasgow, it's all over Scotland as well. So I would love to see new things in the new future as well. Kind of like more people getting into employment. As I say, more people getting a say in what they want to do. In terms of, I remember when I was at college, I got a review meeting, and my tutors were trying to tell me what I should do when I leave college, but because I was too quiet now, quiet then, not very confident. But if it was now, I would say, well, it's my life. Don't tell me what to do. So I would like to find out. So that I would like to hear more people with a disability given a voice. And media is a good platform to do that, because then you're knocking down the barriers to the unequal society. And some of these issues I've spoken about in the past few, the last 4 Tuesday talks, is like, this is 2020. We're going into 2021. And I don't really want to come back and speak about the same issues on next year's Tuesday Talks. I would like to speak about other issues and move forward as a society as well. So I think what I would like to say is listen to people more and value people more with a disability. When you look at people with a disability, the disability should become second nature. It should be the person first. And I've always said that it should be the person first instead of their disability. But in cases like that, it's disability. And then, we can't employ you because you've got a disability. It should be the other way about. And that goes for any walk of life. The last thing I was going to say was, I done a story a few years ago on BBC, and that was discrimination as well, in terms of a boy went out to a pub and the bouncers thought he was drunk and not letting him in. Now, the bouncers shouldn't focus on the boy's disability. They should focus on him, and even though the boy was quite bad at walking and quite bad at talking, we offer quicken the society to make assumptions about people with a disability or else having disabilities as well. So the new future, hopefully I've given you some comfort there and realism when we move forward. And I hope we're not speaking about the same issues when we next celebrate the next Discrimination Act in 25 years' time, because I think disabled people has enough, had enough of the whole, whether it's benefits, jobs, access and all that. It should be an equal society for everyone. So I hope you enjoyed my last Tuesday Talks. If you've missed it again, you can obviously go back and watch it on the YouTube channel and whatever. And then obviously you can make comments down below it as well, and I'll get to see it. So yeah, that's my Tuesday Talks over for this year. And keep on mute.
It's one of those days. I was just saying thank you, Michael. And the other thing I was going to say is I'm not sure the Tuesday Talks will run till another 25 years, will it?
Yeah, no.
I think we are planning to run it through until the end of March at the moment, though. So we'll have more Tuesday Talks in the new year. So yeah. Okay. Thanks, Michael. You're going to be back on our Christmas webinar Wednesday, anyway, aren't you? So you're going to be one of the people that's going to come on webinar Wednesday on the 23rd of December, our last one just before Christmas.
Yeah, that 2 weeks.
2 weeks tomorrow, isn't it? Yeah, 2 weeks tomorrow. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thanks, Michael.
See you, Keith.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.